man is tried and tested in uncomfortable situations, but a true man can only be found after being made from those uncomfortable situations. What's up, guys? It's Jacob with the JDT podcast. And today's episode is going to bounce off of our previous episodes, but also looking forward into where we can find our strength from. A lot of challenges go and a lot of challenges come, but your strength comes and deviates from your past struggles and issues when you may have felt as if you could not go on any further. Your strength is not from what you've accomplished so far, but it's when you have gone through moments and you've made it through those issues and those difficult times and moments. We get lost at times when we don't know where our strength may come from or how we are able to get to the next level or continue to push forward. But our strength is definitely valued to continue us forward. When I think back on the word strength, I break it down as to my personal definition, which is things that you have conquered in life that have helped you into being able to lift other items off of you. Now, of course, I enjoy working out and I enjoy pushing myself to get and become better physically as well as spiritually and intellectually. But overall, most importantly, your strength does not come from your current situations. That is for future endeavors and future strengths. Just as if you're comparing to get something off of you and press forward, you must know and understand that the strength that you've gained from your past is going to help you up to a certain moment, but now you're going for a new weight or you're going up against something even more difficult and pressing. So now you must prepare to become even stronger. A few things that I've been practicing is, number one, gratitude. I try to find things to be grateful for, as well as using my gratitude to enhance my strength spiritually and physically. I have to recall times where I did not feel as if I could conquer a situation or as if my strength was not at the level that it needed to be. So I try to push myself even further and harder at times. And then the next day I feel depleted, I feel tired, but I must know that there are still obstacles at hand and there are tasks that need to be completed. So work with me as we go through a process over the next month of, number one, being more gracious and showing and expressing more gratitude for our past situations, because since we're still here today, we know that we can make it through there. And number two, working on ways to just be more thankful for what you do have and the situations that you have made it through as well. So that is a part of a small challenge that I am doing. Number two, the secondary challenge that I'm working on as well, that I hope you all will incorporate yourself with, is just changing, going out of your normal, like deviating out of your normal actions and finding something that can enhance you that you do not normally do, but do it every day, whether if that's reading, stretching, exercise, whatever it is, get into it and do it for a month. My message and everything that I have set for today, it comes to me in spurts. So I have been in moments where recently I have not felt that I've had the strength to push forward. But as I think back and I ponder on times where I've been stuck in life, where I've run into a wall and it held me up, it stopped all movement, it just ceased it completely, I still was able to get through that wall or that barrier. And I had to sometimes use the strength that I had from my previous walls that I had run into to slowly start to punch and break through and put cracks into that first wall. And I'm using this as an example because as we continue to strive for greatness and success on our own journeys, we will always run into a block or a wall. And instead of us where we feel like we may be held up or stuck for a moment, we're actually needing to be learning in that moment as we're stuck at that wall, because in all reality, we're not stuck. We are at a place where we need to grow more. We need more strength and we need more growth for our personal means, our mental means, and where how we look at it as a block or as a difficult time. We need to understand that, all right, this moment is here for a reason. And it's not necessarily to find out what the reason is, but it's more so immediately needing to know how we're going to get through this task. And when we go through this task, when I break this down to you, when we go through this task, it is built for us to see how bad we want it, number one. And are we going to try to rush and get the wall down, or are we going to move in a manner in which we are able to learn and press on with? So as I'm painting the picture for you, to visualize a wall first and think about all you have are your hands to get through this wall. Are you going to try to punch through it, even if it takes days on end, even when your hands start to hurt, your knuckles have become bloody? Or are you going to try to kick through it or just run through it, even using all of your force every time? The first thing we have is those who may try to punch through it. While trying to punch through it, you are going to encounter pain. You're going to encounter times where your brain is telling you to stop because your hands are hurting, your fists are beaten to shreds. Your brain is telling you that this is not good for you. It's time to stop. But you have to first callous your mind, because you know that this block will not be your stopping point. This block is not meant to detain you or restrain you or keep you back, reject you from where you were going forward. This block is meant for you to get through it in your time, but also at a pace to where you are able to be thankful for it. So number one, we must be thankful for our blocks. Our building areas is what I like to call them, because I'm working on something to where I'm trying to get to a place to where I understand that just because I may have slowed down, I still need to keep going forward, but I must also have a better observation of what I'm going through. And with the observations, we must realize that you are in a learning period and not a holdup. A holdup is something that's keeping you back or having you, in a sense, detained in a place where you may not want to be. When I think of a holdup, you think about a TV show, right? And where someone would come and hold up a gas station or a bank robbery, any of that stuff. But that's a form of detention, right? Being detained. So instead of observing your hold up or stick up as a detention, envision it as an observation where you can learn from it to help build yourself. There are many times where we encounter these walls and do not embrace them, although they are meant and have been placed there for us to be able to grow and structure ourselves and our lives off of that one area, to be able to build a strong foundation. You know, I sit here in moments when I just think to myself and I kind of get lost due to the fact that I cannot fully understand certain walls that I may run into and crossroads where you may feel like this wasn't supposed to happen to me. Why can't I get like this person down the block? Why can't I get like how I used to be in the past? But true, we have encountered times where we've had happier days or more joyous days. But now it's about pushing through to build that base foundation. So that way, let's see, you want a skyscraper life where you want to be high off life, right? and you have all of these monuments that you want for yourself. But a skyscraper built on top of an uneven or unlevel foundation is going to fall over. So it's no point in trying to rush and hurry yourself to get to that skyscraper level just only to fall over once you get to the top of it. We have to start off at our foundations. That's what's going to hold your structure together. Secondly, you have to then start building your levels and floors on top of that stable foundation. That's the building or the climbing area, which when you start running into those blocks, you're building your levels, right? And when you actually think about how a structure is formed and built together, it starts from the base, and each level, as it goes higher and higher, they have to add more blocks into it. So think about that as the blocks that you run into in your life. You are not to deviate from them, but to initiate them, engage them, enhance them, and dominate them as well. Because once you start to dominate those blocks and those barriers, you now have more for your foundation, and your building can grow even larger than you even imagined. So when I think about the times where I've run into blocks and I didn't observe it as something to use or a tool to be able to utilize to enhance my building and make my building even larger than I ever dreamed it to be, I look at it as, I was looking at it once as, this is holding me back. I'm on the move. Now I've run into a block. I can't deal with this. I can't suffer from this now, because this is going to make me even weaker. This is going to make me fall even more. Your point that you have to find is, why do you want to do this so bad that you are willing to go through so much pain to get through this block and barrier? And once you get through that, not because you feel like you deserve it or that you're supposed to have this, that's a whole nother issue on the topic at hand in itself. People feeling as if they are supposed to have this, but they have yet to put in the work or break through the barriers to get there. But what you're supposed to do is understand why you want to get through this barrier. What is it that this is keeping you from in order to press through and keep going? You know, like, why do you want it so badly? You can go on social media, on Google, on YouTube, wherever it is, and search up motivational speaking or motivational videos for whatever it is you want to do. And yeah, for a moment after you listen to that, you're going to feel great. But how long does that flame usually keep that candle lit? You know, after a while, you have to have it installed in your mind and in your heart, because once you get past the pain, now all it is your sure will to not be stopped and your determination to keep you going. And once you get through that, you may realize that after you break down that first wall, there's another one right there behind it. And at that moment is when you may feel depleted, you may feel beat down, you may feel broken, as if you have nothing else to go on with. But once you finish using your hands, you can start running into it with your shoulders. The body is put into so many different parts and portions to where you can get through barriers using different parts of your body. And it starts with your mind. It starts mentally, because first you have to have the mindset to know that you are going to encounter things that you may be afraid of, that you have not seen ever before, that you were not even prepared for. But you must understand and know that you're going to get through it regardless, because you know in your soul and in your heart that this is not going to stop you. You have a skyscraper that you are attempting to build, and your foundation must be set sturdy and stable enough in order to enhance your building to the level that you want it to be. Most people will see these challenges and get to a level and they're satisfied at that level. That's why I enjoy speaking with you all in person, because one thing about us is that we never settle. There's always more to be taken. There's always more goals, more objectives, and more barriers that we are going to face, that we are going to destroy, and that we are going to use to enhance ourselves and flourish into the person, whether man or woman, that we knew we were going to be at the end of the day. It gets challenging at times, but a challenge builds us. It doesn't break us. It builds us into what we know we can be. And that I think about the person that you see at night, where you have a dream, we'll say, and you're dreaming about this lifestyle and it's you, and you can see it very vividly. I look at it as yourself telling you that you have all the tools already within you that you need. It's just time to break them out. It's time to go to work. It's time to push yourself into the next level that you need to get to obtain the greatness and your skyscraper that you want to be able to see. Every time while in Dubai, when I see the Burj Khalifa, it started off as a vision. They knew they wanted the tallest building. They knew the type of structure that they wanted to help just express how big and bold they feel. Well, you must have that same type of energy when it comes to your goals and objectives, and when it comes to getting through these barriers to lay a base. The base of the Burj is large, it's huge. Large is a very disrespectful understatement, but it is huge. And they knew the form and the size of the base that they were going to need for this building, as well as you knowing the size of the building that you want. You're going to need to build a humongous base in order to support and stabilize your building and your foundation. You can't build anything without the proper foundation for it. It must be the correct size, be able to withhold the correct stance, be able to endure a storm and an earthquake. Enduring an earthquake when times come that shake and rattle your building, you cannot let that be the factor to tear your entire building down. Of course, it may shake some bolts loose. It may knock off of the surface a couple of things, but your building is strong enough to endure the storm. It's strong enough to endure the earthquake. Now, to tie it all in totality, your building is you. You are your building. You must understand that there are going to be barriers and barricades and blockers that come at you. Sometimes they'll be stacked like this, one after another after another. And sometimes there's going to be one that you get through and you won't run into another one until later on down the road. But you must understand that whenever they come, you're prepared for it. And what I always do whenever I do encounter one of these moments is pray. I talk to myself, I talk to God, and I understand that, and I pray for understanding out of this building moment, out of this monumental moment. And I'm praying for growth, understanding, and being able to push through this time, because it is going to be difficult, because you're trying to go somewhere where you have never been. So of course it's going to be difficult because you've never been there. So you don't know what to do in order to get to that level in that next location. So these are things that I want you to think on. These are moments and times that I want you to be able to understand and to, number one, be grateful and show gratitude. Be thankful that you get another opportunity to show yourself that you are capable and able of doing bigger and better things and building your base and surrounding yourself and building yourself up into the structure that you want to be and that you dream about and see. And number three, understanding that this time is here for you to be able to conquer it, build yourself, and build your base. I want to thank everybody for always tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and comment on Instagram any other questions that you may have or that you want, any topics or anything in reference to the show. Again, I appreciate you, and we're always going to be getting better together. Peace.